Our next keynote speaker is Dr. Julie Lindsay, Senior Consultant in Technology Innovation at the University of Southern Queensland UNISQ from Australia. The title of her presentation is Learning with the World, Global Collaboration, AI Partnership, and the New Frontier of Human Connection in Education. Dear Dr. Lindsay, the floor is yours.
Thank you so much. Hello, everyone. All right, now, I've got a different perspective on AI, which is good. It's good for the speakers to have a different perspective. And thank you to Alma, you and Kaz and you for this invitation to speak today. It's a genuine privilege to be part of this inaugural conference. And I would like to take you on a journey that connects really, 35 to 40 years of my life in education, thinking about global collaborative learning, and now including one of the most significant shifts I've seen in education, of course, the arrival of AI as a genuine participant tool. A little bit of my bio there. I won't read all that out, of course, but of course the most important people on this slide are my two dogs, Blossom and Basil, who are wanting their dinner. So if you hear a bit of barking or some scratching at the door, that'll be them saying, "Where's my dinner?" I'm based in Australia. It is now nearly 4:30 p.m. in the afternoon, but as I said, it certainly is wonderful to be here. All right, let's look at the problem. Really, we're looking at education systems that were designed for a pre-AI, pre-connected world. AI is arriving faster than pedagogy. I mean, we've been working with AI now for 3 years at my university and probably most of the world as well. It really hit at the end of 2022. And really, the default response has been to treat it as a tool, to manage, to detect, to restrict. I know there were certain disciplines in my university who really wanted it restricted. The School of Law were very slow to come on board, and now they're forging ahead of many other people. But, from my point of view, I think that framing is wrong. What if AI doesn't belong at the edges of learning, but is at the centre of it as a collaborator? That's the provocation I want to sit with today. Looking at the evolution of AI, as I said, this has been my life work basically. And, in the 1990s, we had era one where we had early online global. We had Skype calls, we had video exchange, we had intercultural awareness. I was in K-12 education then, and we'd come in with another class and we'd say, "Oh, they look different, they sound different. Oh, isn't this interesting?" We'd have show and tell one-off exchanges. We'd look at, we'd develop awareness about similarities and differences, which was all very well. But then era 2 started. Now, around about 2005, 2006, Web 2.0 came in. We had more tools to use. We had the read and write web, we had wikis, we had blogs. We could really start collaborating. It was then that I started the Flat Classroom project, and I was working in Bangladesh at the time, my class in Bangladesh with a class in the USA. So we had collaborative teamwork, we had a project going between students in the two different countries, we had asynchronous ways, tools to do this that couldn't be synchronous all the time, and we had localized solutions. But now, of course, era 3. We have what I call the human AI world approach to online global collaborative learning. AI can be an ongoing partnership between students, teachers, and AI augmented localization means that local difference is amplified. So this really deepens the relationship between learners and the world, and I think it's extremely exciting to be working in this area now. Now, this is a slide I just want to mention. At my university, we started the AI pedagogy project about 3 years ago because we thought we need to get people together. There was quite a bit of fear factor. What is AI doing, not just to our jobs, but to our courses, to our subjects? How do we teach the students? Do we expect them to use AI? We don't know how to use AI. So I put together this community of practice, and we meet regularly. We have special workshops and showcases and webinars, etc. But it's a simple model: sharing, experimenting, reflecting, not top-down training, but collective inquiry. So I just wanted to share that and some of the key elements of that. All right, my research focus, which is really important to me now, is exploring the future of human AI collaboration in global education. And some of these questions that we're asking, and I'm collaborating, shout out to Christoph, who's a great colleague of mine. I'll be in Finland again in May, collaborating with Christoph and other colleagues there. But how can AI function as a collaborative partner in globally connected learning? And what pedagogical frameworks support intentional human-AI collaboration? What does this mean for universities? I mean, my university is now saying, right, this year we are approaching AI integration. It's not a matter of whether we do it, it's now how we do it for each discipline. And that's an exciting move to have. And then what roles does the AI agent play when you're actually collaborating with AI? And how do these roles support or restrict collaborative learning interactions? These are all great research questions, and we have more, of course. Let's look at the theoretical foundations. Now, in my doctoral thesis in 2019, I examined globally collaborative educators and pedagogical change, and I came up with this, what I called the global collaborator mindset. Now, just recently, I've extended this. I've added an extra attribute. So, as well as connection, openness, autonomy, and innovation, I've added creative agency, which applies in this case to the co-creating of knowledge with peers and AI. So I've relabeled this the human AI world mindset. But I also want to introduce to you the concept of cosmogogy. Now, in my book, The Global Educator in 2016, I introduced this concept and the practice of cosmogogy, which is learning with the world, not just about the world. Now, the etymology comes from the Greek, cosmos, the world, the universe, and agogos, leading, teaching. So I put the two together. And, in 2016, people were sort of saying, oh, yeah, that's interesting. Not sure how that's relevant to me. And I think, 10 years later, this is really starting to become relevant to what we're talking about in terms of AI building those bridges to our connection with the world. It is now a lot easier for us to learn with, collaborate with, solve global problems with others beyond our immediate vicinity. And we should be doing that. Our students should be doing that. So part of this cosmogogy approach is that who you learn with and what you construct together are most important. And the world is a co-participant, not an object. And really, I think cosmogogy is the missing piece in terms of pedagogical philosophy. And this links in, of course, with the human AI world mindset. I've just added a few more slides in the last half hour. I'll be very quick. But I wanted to talk about my pathway, my journey of developing AI agents or AI learning partners. And thanks to Christoph, when I was in Finland last year, Christoph said to me, can you create sarcastic Socrates? Well, I did. So I build a persona, or I get AI to help me build the persona, and then I build the agent. I was building in ChatGPT. I'm now building in Boodlebox. I'll talk more about Boodlebox in a minute. But sarcastic Socrates, I rely on him to give it to me straight. He'll tell me if I say, should I get a second dog, Socrates? And so we go through the whole conversation until finally we agree that yes, I could get a second dog. I mean, it sounds a little trivial, but you think if you could build into that other global problems, not just whether you're getting a second dog, and use a conversation learning partner like Socrates, then it becomes a lot more interesting and exciting. Very briefly, this is a workshop I ran in France last year, and I built Explainer Ally Bridget because the workshop was called Digital Bridges. And then we had Contrary Connie. Now this was focused on the human AI world. Each one of these learning partners or agents, whatever terminology you prefer, was instrumental in helping the team. This was a face-to-face all-day workshop. So the teams used the AI while they were still sitting around a table, and the AI helped them to build the projects that they built as teams. This is another example in New Zealand last year for the Technology and Innovation Network, where we built, we were in tables and we built different solutions to global problems, to put it bluntly. And this is where I first used Collaboration Cosmo. It was the first iteration of Collaboration Cosmo using Boodlebox.ai. Now, Boodlebox.ai is really the only useful AI tool that will allow you to have a group of people in the same chat. Now, I know ChatGPT does that now, but it doesn't do it as well. It doesn't do it the way I need it to do it. And it allows now the AI agent to be a team member or potentially an equal learning partner. I'm saying that with not enough research behind it. I'm aware of that, using the word equal. And that's what we're doing. We're researching more around this whole area. But at least we could say AI agent as a learning partner. So this was a great success as well. Boodlebox also allows you to bot stack. So it actually has Claude and ChatGPT and Nana Banana, which is really good. With Collaboration Cosmo, and in conjunction with the Technology and Innovation Network, which is a community of practice I lead that belongs to the International Council for Open and Distance Education, who are based in Norway. Well, their office is in Norway, but they're a global organisation who have been going since the 1930s. Can you believe it? And they're wonderful to collaborate with, and I'm honoured to be able to lead the Technology and Innovation Network. We had projects within the network last year. One of the projects I led was based on this whole global collaborative learning piece and how we join the world. And this is a student-focused project we called Cosmogogy Collaborative. We've built a case study research framework around it. We had international student teams. The theme was sustainability. We had an 8-week structure, co-created outcomes. We used a few different tools, but Collaboration Cosmo was the AI agent designed to bridge time zones and facilitate asynchronous collaboration, and acting as a member or an equal member and a facilitator. You could say and each team had its own iteration. You could say to team one, okay, who responded in the last 48 hours and what were the key points that they discussed with you? And it would do that. Students took a while to find their feet with this way of working. And we have a long way to go in terms of how comfortable students feel, how they actually, do they know how to use AI as a collaborative learning partner? Do they know how to collaborate with other students online and not face-to-face? I mean, we have some of these hurdles. Do they have access to technology to be able to do this? Adequate access. And a couple of our African partners didn't have quite the access that other partners did, such as Germany and Brazil. Yeah, so this is just a bit more about it, and there's a link there to the Padlet where you can see all of the resources, or the feedback, some of the slides, the projects that the students built, etc. So we're putting together some. We've written one paper about this in collaboration. This paper that we have written, and this is with Samuel Madtha, me and Sam Sam is a PhD student in Finland. Pending publication, we've submitted, but this Sam developed this deductive coding framework. So we wanted to know what sort of conversations are the students having with AI and with each other. Well, there was very little with each other, which is something we must work on, because Boodlebox allows for a messaging feature, not just a conversation with the AI. But we have these different domains and codes, and so our paper and our research has looked at, are they talking? Are they building connection and openness? What are the human AI co-constructions, etc.? So we've got a way of analysing these as well, and of course there are different ways to approach this in terms of a research project, but I find this one quite fascinating because it gives a quantitative approach, because I'm a qualitative researcher myself. So you can say, well, look, most of the interactions were C1, and there was 2 for C10 and 6 for C8. So we can start to look at, well, where do we need to foster perhaps better understanding amongst the students of how to use the tool, or how to be collaborators in a global sense as well. I just want to mention HighFlex. Now, my university, we are doing some piloting with HighFlex learning. Now, that is a combination of the words hybrid and flexible. And bringing this together, HighFlex makes global participation possible. And AI partnership makes global collaboration meaningful. All right, so HighFlex provides the structural flexibility. If students have the flexibility to learn outside of the physical classroom, if they have the knowledge and the ability to learn asynchronously with partners, global partners, it's not about synchronous. Asynchronous is the glue that holds these type of activities together. If there can be equivalent pathways where time zones aren't a barrier, that's HighFlex, that's what that provides. And AI Partnership, of course, provides always-on presence, generative continuity, and collaborative momentum. No participant left behind by their geography, even though I must admit down in Australia, we often feel left behind because we're so far south. But I'm working on it, don't worry. Very briefly, principles for higher education. So really, discussions that you should perhaps be having are, how do we design for creative agency? How do we build educator communities such as the AIPP? How do we return agency to the learner? Okay, I'm talking about human AI teams, but the human must lead. The AI can amplify or augment, but not replace it, of course, and that's really important. And then, of course, there's the ethical imperative. Conclusions and implications. Okay, so my framework, Cosmogogy framework, it's really applicable to the AI partnered learning era, learning with the world, not just about it. And then, of course, the human AI world mindset, this reframable, teachable dispositions. So global collaboration and AI is a new frontier, not a threat. And really, it's not whether AI belongs in education, but what relationship we choose to build with it. And some of these areas that we need to give more attention to, program design, curriculum design, learning design, whatever you call it in your institution, professional development, how are we preparing our academics to embrace this? And, global collaboration, as I've said, has been around for a long time, and we don't embrace it because of many reasons I don't have time to go into, but how are we starting to prepare our academics for the AI era? And of course, policy. Lots to say there. And I know you're talking about policy as well. And I just said that. The question is I'll say it again. The question is no longer whether AI belongs in education, but what kind of relationship we choose to build with it. And that's my final statement. So please stay in touch. We will be running more Cosmogogy Collaborative projects this year, probably in the second half of the year. And if you are interested in bringing your students into something that's global, that implements AI as a learning partner, please stay in touch.